Okay, I should be live right now. I already have some comments. Gotta disappoint. All right. I'm gonna rank all of the Legends books on this tier maker list. Only the normal novels, no YA stuff, no comics, only the books. The real, books for grown-ups. So let me show you. Here we are. Okay. Can't see comments while doing this, but whatever. Let me first probably change the Senate. So that's the best, basically. And then steaming garbage. That's too nice. Hello, hello. Okay, let's just start. 6 people watching. Okay, that's good. Let's just go in the order that's down here, left to right. So we start with Children of the Jedi by Barbara Hambly. There's no thinking needed. Steaming garbage below F. It's the bottom of the barrel. It's complete fucking trash. Terribly written, terrible characterization, terrible story. Everything about it is fucking awful. Hello there. What's up? All right. Like enough said. Children of the Jedi, trash. Complete and utter goddamn trash. And this leads us right to the second book with Callista in it, which is Darksaber. And after my reread, I discovered Darksaber is better. Definitely better than Children of the Jedi in comparison. Even as a standalone, I think it's decent. I think this is Kevin J. Anderson's best novel, which is why I would give it like a C. It's not great or anything, but it's good. Yeah, plus terrible shipping. Oh my god. Yeah, it's trash. But Darksaber, decent. I was surprised by how good it actually was. It's not great by any means, but it's fun and it's easy to read and it doesn't give me a headache, unlike Children of the Jedi. So here we go. Then we get X-Wing Starfighters of Edumar, and that has to be the Senate. It has to go up here. I mean, it's the greatest Aaron Alston book, probably. One of the funniest expanded universe novel. It's a straight up comedy. It nails the characterization and the different comedy styles with our main guys. We got Wedge, Hobby, Tycho, Wes. I think if people can only read one X-Wing book, I would recommend Starfighters of Edumar. That's a book you read when you want a fun book. And speaking of fun books, the next one isn't one of those. It's the second Barbara Hambly novel, Planet of Twilight. It's also terribly written because it's Barbara Hambly. But maybe controversial, I think it's better than Children of the Jedi. Be it alone for the fact that it's shorter, but I remember more of it. Like, it has the terrible plot with, like, Luke, like, people can't use the Force on this planet because if they do, there's gonna be a tornado. It has Leia fighting a Dark Jedi Hutt. It has one actual good scene where Leia talked with Callista about, her Jedi heritage and stuff, which is surprisingly okay and decent. Yeah, and it's shorter. That's the main selling point. I wouldn't reread any of those two Barbara Hambly novels, but if you put a gun to my head and force me to, I would go with Planet of Twilight. So I'm torn between F and Steaming Garbage. And I have to go with... I'm gonna go with F. Yeah, I'm gonna go with F for now. Oh my god, the Alston books, so much better. So much better than Stackpole. Yeah, I enjoyed them somewhat more on my second read because I wasn't a big fan of them the first time. The second time I was like, yeah, I appreciate the stuff in here, but I'm not like, yeah, this is awesome. But Aaron Alston's X-Wing stuff, top tier. He's just a better author in general. Like he writes just way better. He actually makes you care about the characters, which is, important. And speaking of important characters and great writing, the Crystal Star has to go into S tier because it's the Crystal Star. It has Waru. It is just a masterpiece. There are no other words to describe it. It is just probably maybe the best standalone book in the entire expanded universe. I have it right here. The Crystal Star. Guys. 9 times Children of the Jedi or one more time Legacy of the Force. Gun to my head. Both of them were fucking terrible. Legacy of the Force made me want to kill myself, but it did have Aaron Alston in it. His books also weren't that good at all because it's Legacy of the Force, but they were the best out of the bad stuff. But it's Legacy of the Force. I can't answer this. I'm sorry. I can't. And thank God I never have to reread any of those ever again. Because now I have reviewed them on my channel. It's done. Next up, the Black Fleet Crisis Trilogy. Okay, we're gonna make this nice and simple. Book 1, I feel like is a solid B. It's good setup, it has an interesting plotline, especially the politics with Leia and Yeveta. That's all good stuff. I enjoy it. This political and military angle. Lando's plot is fun. It's completely disconnected, but it's fun. And then the Luke plot is weird, but interesting. So, yeah, as a setup novel, I like it. I think it's decent. Book 2, yes. I will get to it right now. Chris Nelson, if he wants to come on here, yeah, sure. The link is on Discord. I can post it there. But I was thinking I'm gonna do this alone. Just, give my quick thoughts, my ranking. So yeah, book 2, Shield of Lies. The problem with this book is the structure. It completely, like the first book, it's just a normal book. Like you get different chapters on different characters and plot lines. And the second book, the first 80 pages are just about Lando. Then the next 90 pages are only about the Luke plot, and then the last 90 pages are only about the Leia plot. And it's such a bad way to structure a book. That was just terrible. But again, the Lando plot is nice, at least. But yeah, that structure doesn't work. The Leia plot is good. The Luke plot gets bad and boring in this one. And the Lando plot is still pretty decent, but it's so disconnected from everything, but it's decent. But just because of this horrible structure, it has to go into D. I'm sorry. That just, no. And then Tyrant's Test, the final. This one's decent. It has the fun plot with Chewbacca and his family trying to save Han. The final showdown with Leia. It has a better structure again, like the first book had, which is good, and not the second one. And yeah, it wraps up everything. The Lando plot is good. The Luke stuff, I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's okay. It's fine. I would put this one into C and just say it's a decent, mediocre-ish trilogy overall, in total. Then we get to The New Rebellion, an underrated book. It has to go into B. It has problems. It's maybe a bit too long, but it has a decent enough writing style. It has a good story. I like the villains because we have a nice connection to Young Jedi Knights. And I really love the way Luke is written in here. I really love the Lando and Han plot, which is somewhat disconnected. But Lando is awesome in it. That's good. And I think my main problem is just the ending feels kind of rushed, like really rushed and not thought out. But overall, yeah, very solid, very overlooked book. And then we get to Ambush at Corellia, first book in the Corellian trilogy. Yep, wacky energy. Ambush at Corellia. I really like this one. I like that we get to see like our main heroes, the Solo family, just being like normal people, having like a family dinner and stuff. And we get focus on the Solo children, which is very nice. This is the first book aside from the Crystal Star to actually focus on the Solo kids. So that's great. Yeah, I think this is. It has one problem, which I think it is in this one. It's you can feel this is a plot for like one book, and they forced the author Roger McBride Allen to stretch it into a trilogy, and that's why not only this book but every book it feels like stretched out. And I think this first one, Ambush at Corellia, had like the chapter. It was like 30 pages long about a New Republic agent crash landing on the planet. Such filler, like you can tell, yeah, I have to stretch this into a trilogy somehow. But there is so much good in here. I have to put this at a solid B, approaching A territory, but it's a solid B. I think Corellian Trilogy is underrated overall. And next up is not the second book. Okay, let's just finish Corellian Trilogy first. Assault on Selonia, second book. I liked it, but it suffers from second book in a trilogy syndrome. Again, stretched out. The Selonian culture introduced in here is fun. We get Leia and Mara teaming up. Mara is written kind of weirdly, more like she was in the Thrawn trilogy, like there was no character development in between, which is kind of a problem I have. But I would still say it's solid. I would put this into C. It's a bit underneath like the first one, but it's still decent. And then the third one, Showdown at Centerpoint. I would go with B. It's not quite on the level of the first book, but I enjoy it. All the connections to Truth at Bakura and stuff is great, obviously. The final showdown, Anakin Solo, reconciled Solo, I like it. I enjoy it. Oh god. Yeah, Corrins. Oh god. When he fucked the otter in the X-Wing books. I remember. Next up, we get Deceived. I don't remember enough about it, which is a little knock against it, but I remember it being fast-paced. I was having fun with the characters. You know, the smuggler type in it. Darth Malgus itself was more interesting than I thought he would be because he looks really lame, like a cheap Vader knockoff. But he was somewhat more interesting with his love interest and everything. So I'm gonna put this one into B. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the books in the separate categories here, they are not ranked inside them. This is just, they're all Bs. Some of them are stronger than others, but yeah. Deceived was decent. Next one we have, oh god, Spectre of the Past. Okay, the first Hand of Thrawn book. It's good, but it's mostly set up for the second book. But it's written competently, and I like the main story and the characterizations in it. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, let me. This is hard. I like Vision of the Future more, the second book. But the second book, I recognize that it's messy. And I'm not a big fan of like the Shudder Dukal storyline because that's just the Mara Jade story repeated and more boring. But it did give us some nice Talon Card stuff and some lore and world building with what's his name, George Cardis. Okay, I'm gonna give them both an A. Solid A. Good ending to the Bantam era, good ending to the Galactic Civil War. Not perfect, which is why it's only A. Like I said, the second book is quite messy. I have both German and English paperbacks. I think I would say most agree that the Luke and Mara part is like the best thing. Like, their storyline is great. Definitely, that's the highlight of the duology. And my thing is, he had to end the books with them, getting married, because otherwise, if they just became a couple, another author would come in and split them up again, because these authors are dumb fucks like Kevin J. Anderson. And yeah, the teleportation, fine, whatever, I don't care. But yeah, solid. And then we get to one of the most underrated books, a surprise. A book that many people don't even know exists, but it's an absolute highlight for me, and that's Scourge. It's just an RPG story that's somehow the guy got made into a fucking novel. And it's set during Luke's New Jedi Order is a thing, and this is just a random Jedi in his order. And it's a librarian, or like an archivist, like it says. And it's fucking awesome. There's no like big galaxy-wide conflict or anything, and I'm so fucking glad that there isn't. This is just a nice little Jedi adventure from Luke's New Jedi Order, not starring Luke or any of the big characters, not even mentioned. The only other character mentioned in here is fucking Tion. So yeah, this goes into S. I'm sorry. This is, if you haven't read Scourge, like, do it. Yep. Oh god, yeah, that's gonna be great. It is underrated. I'm sure most people don't even know this came out. And the problem is obviously the fucking cover. It's just a white background, and then there's like some random Jedi guy on it who looks like he might be from a video game, honestly, with the fucking artwork, the graphics. And when I first saw this book on Amazon, I was like, is this like some kind of like game supplement or something? Because it doesn't look like a novel. Like the background is just empty white. But yeah, the book itself, awesome. It would be awesome if this gets like a reprint in the Essential Legends collection. The cover can only be better. It is great. It's just a crime novel in Hutt space and in the corporate sector with a Jedi librarian. It's awesome. He has glasses. I mean, come on, guys. Yeah, I mean, we got like Junior Jedi Knights, Young Jedi Knights, and Survivor's Quest and Scourge, and that's kind of it. Yeah, it is a novelization. The Tempest Feud by Wizard of the Coast. Yeah. And I'm glad they set it in the New Republic era. Oh yeah, Shadow Games, that's also a good one. Then we have Survivor's Quest. I'm of the opinion this is the last really good Zahn novel, in a way, because I think once he started writing in the prequel era and stuff, and the Rebellion era, it got downhill fast. I like the Luke and Mara stuff in here. Revisiting the Outbound Flight. This is basically like a little epilogue to like Hand of Thrawn. Yeah, correct. So Survivor's Quest, it's a very solid B. Good book. Yeah, good book. Nothing more to say. Come back later. Then you can watch. Next up. Oh my god, we're already getting to New Jedi Order. Whew. Okay. Vector Prime. First book. It's gotta be an A. It has a lot of things to do, being the first book in like a 19-book series, setting up the villains, setting up our main heroes and the main conflict. solid A. And obviously the death scene. Perfect. It's not a masterpiece, I wouldn't say. I have some problems with Salvatore's writing style, but overall, this is very solid. This is just a damn good book, and obviously an important one. Yeah. Outbound Flight. I have problems with it. The Sebeoff clone is one of it. The other one being Anakin and Obi-Wan being shoehorned into it, hardcore. And you can tell that was like a demand from Lucasfilm. He has to put Anakin and Obi-Wan into Outbound Flight, the book. Doesn't work. Yeah, hi. Okay, next up, Dark Tide 1. Onslaught. Okay. This one, I remember thinking it's very good, but I just remember it being weaker than the second book, which I remember because out of the duologies in the New Jedi Order, most of the time I have the feeling like the second book, no, the first book is better, and then the second book is a bit weaker. But with this one, I think the second book was really good, and this first one, Onslaught, was a bit weaker. It's a B. Very good book, though. And then the second one, Ruin, is an A. Good stuff, good stuff. New Jedi Order, just great. Agents of Chaos, Hero's Trial. James Luceno's first book, A. Absolutely an A. He knocks it out of the park right away. Second book, Jedi Eclipse, not as strong. Like I said, with the duologies, I think the first books are always better. And this was a step down. But I did like all the Hutt stuff in it. And I did like the connections. You know, Freck and Sal Solo is in it. Centerpoint Station and stuff. That's good. Writing style, it's all fine. It's good. Yeah, Elagos, that's the thing. Oh boy. Then we get Balance Point, which I think is one of the most disliked books in the series. I don't agree. When I reread it, I really damn enjoyed it. And I'm sad Kathy Tyers didn't return for, you know, a bit more books. Would have been nice. Not even necessarily in here, in New Jedi Order, just in general. I would put this at a solid B. It's good. Oh boy. Greg Keyes. Greg motherfucking Keyes is such an underrated author. And he has only written, literally everything he has written is a 10 out of 10. Literally everything, because he has only written 3 books and a short novel, if you want to call it that, a novella. So everything about this book is great. The pacing, the characterization, the connections to other stuff, how it progresses the plot. It is so fucking good. Same for the next one, how it develops the relationship between Anakin and Tahiri. Corran Horn is in it, and he's very good. Mara and Luke, her pregnancy and everything. So damn good. So damn fucking good. He should have, but as I understand, he was working on his own book projects, which, you know, good for him. But yeah, it would have been great if they would have brought him back. Next up. Oh boy. I agree, because you can tell it's not a pet character for him, unlike Stacky. Next up, Star by Star. Worst book in the New Jedi Order series, by far. By far. The plot completely falls apart if you think about it for 1 second. The entire Voxin thing isn't explained well enough. The strike team doesn't make sense. Denning doesn't even try to explain it in a way that makes sense. The characterizations are fucking abysmal, especially for Anakin and Tahiri's relationship. That's abysmal, and there is no excuse for it. The way he kills off side characters, Lusa and Lyric, from Crystal Star Young Jedi Knights, in case of Lusa, and Lyric from Junior Jedi Knights, for no apparent reason. And I know Matt Wilkins said, like, oh, he talked to Denning, and he was like, and Denning was like, oh, but it was to get an emotional reaction out of the death of a friend because they didn't suffer already in the series, yeah. And you had also to kill Lyric, a second character, also in a throwaway line that doesn't mean anything. Thank you, Troy. And once you realize how the plot doesn't make sense with the Voxin, Anakin's death is pointless, and it feels stupid. And also, it does have some good Nomenor stuff, which is why it's only F. That's the only thing that saves it, I'm sorry. It is true that okay, we don't know the exact reasoning, okay? George Lucas said, don't make Anakin Solo the main hero character. He never told them to kill him off, though. That's a very important distinction. George just said Anakin Solo cannot be the hero because I'm making the prequels. Anakin Skywalker is a thing. Yeah. He also wanted to kill Kyle Katarn and Kip Duran, I think, in this book. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he wanted to kill at least one of them in here. Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, with the Anakin Solo thing, they could have just not killed him off, but they just swapped places. But it wasn't George Lucas who told them kill Anakin Solo. He just told them don't make him the big hero. Oh yeah, George was of the opinion, like most content creators in America, your audience is retarded. You have to treat them like stupid, mentally incapable children. Next book, Dark Journey. This was great. I know this is also a controversial one, but I enjoyed Jaina's character in here very much. I would have liked to see more Elaine Cunningham, and especially after fucking Star by Star, which was exhausting with it's so overlong, bloated, terrible writing style. And then I got to Dark Journey, and it's just so nice, good characterizations that I had fun with. I like Kip Duran in this book, and he's a fucking dipshit. So I would have liked to see Blood Oath after this one. Definitely. I think Cunningham is a decent author. This gets a solid B. Okay, that's pretty based from Stackpole, gotta say. Then we got Aaron Olson's duology. Rebel Dream. Gotta be an A. Gotta be an A. Is it an S? Yep, that was a thing. And Keyes definitely did it in his books. But yeah, I'm thinking, is Rebel Dream... It has so many great moments. The stuff with Lando at the start. I'm torn between S and A. Fuck it, it's S. It's S. It's gotta be an S. Ah, damn it. And then the second one, it has Lord Naix, which is bizarre and fun. It's a little bit of a step down, though, so it's an A. Very, very damn solid. Then we get to Traitor. Obviously, S. I don't need to explain why. Destiny's Way. Again, Walter John Williams, underrated author. I'm gonna go with an A for this one. For some reason, Red Harvest is next. Okay, whatever. Red Harvest. Or should I finish New Jedi? Come on, we finish New Jedi Order first. Okay. Remnant. Very good, fun book. I know the Force Heretics trilogy, people say, oh, it's the worst of New Jedi Order. It's not. Well, maybe it is, but it's not bad. Remnant was very fun. I really liked it. It has fucking Pelion. Pelion shines. The whole Nomenor plot. The Tahiri plot. It's good. It's damn fan good. And it has all the connections to the Bantam era works, you know. Same with Refugee is the worst. That's the second one. And I do like that they bring back the Yvetta and everything, but definitely the weakest of this Force Heretic trilogy. So it's gonna get C, it's okay. And then Reunion, I would give a B. It's slightly better than Refugees, but it's not as good as Remnant. Yeah, same. I will get to it in a minute. So yeah, solid enough trilogy. And then we get to the final prophecy, which it's gotta be a fucking S. Greg Keyes, ladies and gentlemen. God damn, he's so good. All of his stuff, 10 out of 10. Same with Unifying Force, best ending to any Star Wars story, including the movies, including the original trilogy. Okay, Red Harvest gets a C. It's good, it's fine, it's schlock, it's zombie fun. That's it. And next, oh no. The Dark Nest Trilogy. I'm gonna think about this for a moment. Which is worse? Like, what is the ranking here? Because I fucking despise all three of those, but yeah, we are hitting the danger zone. Oh no. Oh no. Yep. What you misquoted and then you corrected yourself and you still didn't do it right. That's amazing. Okay, Dark. I think they just got worse as it went along. Like, the first one is already an F, like it's fucking abysmal. And then the next two are even worse. And the third book just has like Jason saying like, good, use your anger to destroy your enemy, like Vegeta taught me. Fuck off, retarded asshole Denning. Betrayal isn't. Well, it's Alston. It's easier to read, but it has the Vegeta bullshit at the end, and the Jason goes dark. But for the most part, it still sucks with the setup. E. I'm gonna be friendly on this one a little bit. Mm-hmm. Of course not. It's abysmal. It has to go down there. Already, yeah. Already. Okay, I've just been told we are missing one. We are missing the second Karen Traviss TCW novel. Do any of you see No Prisoners on here? Okay, well, later on we just have to pretend it's on here, and I can rank it. Bloodlines. Steaming garbage. Old Republic. Okay, Karen Traviss made me despise the Mandalorians so much. I would be happy to get a story where their entire culture gets wiped out. Maybe if I rewatch TCW with like the terrible like German Mandalorians, like the Aryans, I will probably enjoy it, honestly. Just shitting on Traviss' work and shitting on the Mandalorians like that, it's probably going to be enjoyable, actually, because I fucking despise them and I wish them death. Fatal Alliance, steaming garbage. I remember nothing about this book. I wrote about it in my chronology, my next one that I'm working on right now. I had to look up what was going on at the end. Completely forgotten everything. It is bizarre and it's just bad. It's not good. Speaking of not good, we have fucking Tempest, which sucks, but it's actually somehow one of Denning's less abysmal books, so I would put it just in F. And then we get to Exile, which gets a D because it has Lando being awesome. And the parts of it that don't have anything to do with like the main story, with Han, Leia, Lando, Wedge, that's solid. When I can forget that like Jason's bullshit going on and it's just about those characters and they are actually written like the actual characters, It's fine. Name one single character in it. Apart from Satil Shan, I dare you. I literally don't remember any character. There was one smuggler, I think, called Crash Nebula, and I only remember his name because he sounds ridiculous. But yeah, other than that, Fatal Alliance was just so forgettable. Sacrifice, steaming pile of trash. It is. I can write a better book series on my own. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't fucking care if I sound pretentious. This feels like a 12-year-old's version of literally any of us. Guys in chat, you can write better books. This feels so amateurish, like not planned out, not thought out. This entire series, but this book especially is where it breaks apart. Then we get Inferno, which is one of the shortest books, which took me 2 weeks to finish because I wanted to slit my wrist while reading it. It legitimate reading Legacy of the Force for a second time made me borderline suicidal, and I'm not even kidding for comedic effect. I was actually getting depressed. Okay, to a point where at one point in the middle I just stopped, and the only reason I finished this is because I promised it to review it on my channel, and I just had the urge, like, okay, I have to do this just to be done with it. Yeah. Yeah, fun. Remember fun in Star Wars books? I don't. Not in this era, baby. We are in the Denningverse right now. Which leads me to Fury, which gets an E. Biggest plus. Jack Fell murders Elima Ra by snapping her fucking neck. That's fun. I'm glad the bitch is finally dead. Fucking terrible character to begin with, but that was good. That's the only reason. And Lando gets a child in this one. He learns that his wife is pregnant, which has nothing to do with anything, is never talked about again in this book series. And again, trash writing, trash planning, trash story team. But hey, at least Lando is becoming a daddy. That's good. Revelation, Abysmal. Jaina training with Mandalorians to fight a Sith Lord is the most retarded thing ever. Almost, until we get to the next book. They teach her absolutely nothing except punch harder. And it doesn't. They should have taught her about like Jason's ultimate move in the books, which is kicking your opponent in the balls, which is something Denning keeps writing in all of his books. Every lightsaber fight or any fight, someone will kick another person in the balls. In Invincible's case, Jason will kick Jaina right in the crotch, and he's surprised she doesn't flinch because he thinks he's fighting Luke. Great. I'm glad. I learned something about female anatomy. Apparently they don't have balls. That's something. Troy, it's educational. That's good. It's not pretty because we are in the Denningverse. Okay, let me get to the rest. Okay, let me show you here. Look, I have Scourge and Est here. Ever seen that before? That's not predictable, Alex. Do you have time? Do you have good internet? Do you want to come on here? After I'm done with this. I don't want your opinions on these books, okay? I got a rant here. That's what people want. Okay. Next up is Invincible. Yeah, Scourge and Est here. Okay, Invincible. Until I reread Fate of the Jedi Apocalypse, I said this was the worst book in the Star Wars Expanded Universe. This unironically reads like a first draft of something. It is tone deaf as fuck. Characterizations of, like, even for the Legacy of the Force, abysmal bad standard. This is, boy. Okay, we will see. We will get to it. Let's say half an hour. I don't know how much. Oh, this is gonna take a little bit more time. Okay, this is Steaming Garbage, bottom of the barrel. And then we get to Cross Current and Riptide. Okay, do that. Yeah. Oh, you mean the tier list? Yeah, it's a website. I can send you a link maybe later. Apparently one book is missing on here. That's good. Apparently one book is missing here, so keep guys in chat, remind me. When we get to the TCW novels, No Prisoners is apparently missing. Apparently. But Crosscurrent and Riptide, they are fun. Like the standalone books in the Denningverse are fun. Crosscurrent and Riptide, I would rank both of them, I guess. Well, Crosscurrent gets a solid B. It's very fun. It feels like a video game in a fun way. It has this bizarre storyline and yeah, overall just enjoyable. And again, no focus on the main characters. No Luke Han Leia. We needed more books like this with the different characters. That's what people like. And Jaden Core, video game character. Books here came out years after the game. Awesome. A Riptide, a little bit weaker, but I would still give it a B. Maybe approaching C territory, but it has bizarre ideas, and you know me, I like bizarre, fun ideas. All right. I will send it later. Then we get to Millennium Falcon, which I forgot how good it was until reading it again. I'm torn between a B and an A, but it's gotta be an A. It's very enjoyable. It's a nice little like family treasure hunt with the Zolos. It works as a standalone, by the way. Any of you guys in chat, if you share my opinion of the Denningverse being trash, read Millennium Falcon. That one's good. And most of the references to the Denningverse and Legacy of the Force is basically just Lucino saying, what the fuck was even going on? What were you thinking? Like, you can tell he's like baffled by the terrible storytelling in Legacy of the Force. Old Republic Annihilation. Right now I'm rereading this book, and it's so much fun. It is a spy thriller in the Old Republic era. It reminds me of a James Bond novel in parts, definitely. And it may, honestly, I like this more than the Bane trilogy. This may go into S for me personally. A or S. I'm not sure yet. But I would, Annihilation, another one that's highly underrated. I'm gonna go with A because S is for like absolute masterpieces. But okay. Oh yeah, in a way, definitely. You can see the comparison. Yeah, it's okay. Having no experience with SWTOR, the game, because I hate video games, as we know, reading the SWTOR tie-in material, the comics, the books, and the short stories, I'm convinced Farron Shan is the only good character in all of SWTOR. Because he has the only good material outside of it. He has the best novel, he has the best comic, and he has the best short stories. Enough said. Like, that's it. Absolute great book. Fate of the Jedi Outcast. Oh boy. Okay, Fate of the Jedi. On my reread, I discovered I like the first 5-ish books. And then with Vortex, it crashes and it burns, and it's worse than Legacy of the Force. Apocalypse definitely is. I hate Apocalypse. Thank you. This doesn't help me right now, but thank you. We will insert it in our thoughts. Okay. Outcast, it's a solid B. It's Aaron Alston. It has more comedy. It has more Star Wars feeling to it, at least more than Legacy of the Force. So that's good. And yeah, overall not offensive, which is good. Omen, similarly, B or C. I'm gonna go with B. Abyss, I'm gonna go with C. It's probably the best Troy Denning book. Well, nah. We will see when I get to Tatooine Ghost. That one's boring, but it's inoffensive. Then we get Backlash. This is an A. I'm sorry. This is complete filler, essentially, inside the larger book series, but it's fun. And it has almost nothing to do with, like, the main story, which makes it the best book. Hello there, finally he joins in. Take a look at my list so far. Next book is Allies. It's solid, but it has its problems. It's the last good book. I would give it a C. It's decent. It's decent. And then the series goes downhill fast. Vortex is an F. Doesn't work. Really bad. I don't know what happened. It's like with Abyss, Troy tried to write a good book, and then he just couldn't help himself, and just immediately it went back to shit. Then we get Conviction, a weak Aaron Alston book. He connects it to Planet of Twilight, which is weird and interesting, but the least memorable Alston entry in this series. Just not that good. Ascension, F. I'm sorry, this was a failure. Just a failure. Yes, very reasonable. And Apocalypse, absolute garbage, worse than all of Legacy of the Force, maybe. Pissed me off to no end. It was painful to read, and it's over 500 pages for some reason. For some inane reason, it's so long. But then we get to something that healed my wounds, which was X-Wing Mercykill, A. I know this one is not really controversial, but like less liked. It's often considered the weakest of the X-Wing books. And maybe it is. No, not really, if we count Stackpole. I think all of Stackpole's books are weaker than Alston. But Mercykill is it's fun. You know how I felt reading Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi, like this fucking Denningverse. And then I read a book that was fun. And it has fun, enjoyable characters and good moments. And it was just like, oh my god, I'm back home. And then all of that was crushed immediately with Crucible. Steaming garbage. Fails on every level. Nothing more to say. Oh, speaking of Crucible, did I show this? I custom printed, I posted about it, my self-made paperback with the original cover, which looks better. That's a whole other discussion to have. Why did they change it? The one I self-printed is just what they had originally for the hardcover. And then they decided, no, let's do these 3 giant floating heads on a white background. Because, yeah, that looks good. That's gonna get people to buy it. Knight Errant. John Jackson Miller, what have you done? It has interesting elements. It has an interesting structure to it, because it's very much kind of like 3 separate novellas starring the same characters. In a way, it's more connected, obviously. And that's interesting. And all the villains, the different Sith kingdoms and stuff is interesting. But Kara Holt is such a bland, nothing character. And it's just not memorable enough. It's not. By the fact alone that it's one book. I will read Knight Errant again. But I will not touch Legacy of the Force. It gets E. I'm gonna put it at E. I'm so sorry, John Jackson Miller. He's such a decent writer, and then he puts out Knight Errant, the book and the comics. And it's just like such a disappointment. Because there's good stuff in there, but the bad stuff is the main character. The villains are enjoyable. I think everyone agrees with that, but yeah. And I like the structure, which I don't see people talk about, but the story structure, basically 3 novellas taking place in the different Sith kingdoms, obviously with a connecting plot. That's interesting. That was fine. The writing style was kind of dry, I remember. I will reread Knight Errant at some point. The book and the comics, for my chronology, obviously. Obviously, this cover is fucking ugly. It's made by John Van Fleet, who is the worst cover artist in the expanded universe. He also made the cover for Rule of Two, which has Darth Pennywise, the clown, aka Darth Bane, which is a good segue because next is the Darth Bane trilogy. Path of Destruction is a solid A. An underdog Sith origin story, very much fun. Rule of Two, it was rushed and it kind of feels rushed. it doesn't completely feel rushed, but you can tell there was something doesn't quite sit right here. And it's overall the weakest for me in this trilogy and gets a B. Dynasty of Evil I enjoyed. I did. Especially because Sedharf. He's such a fun character, okay? I wish we would have gotten a bit more of him, but Dynasty of Sedharf. Okay, come on. Okay, that's good. You agree with some of it. Next is Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void, which I'm the biggest fan of on the planet. Yeah, so this one, it is decent. I see the problems with the writing style. I agree it would have been simple if he just put in just like when he switches from present storyline to the past storyline, like Bounty Hunter Wars did, just put in like a little chapter 2, whatever, the past. And it would have been, it would have fixed the problem for many people, I think. But I still think this is a good book, an enjoyable read. I would give it a solid B. Not a great book, it's a good book. I like it. Really? Huh? That's good. Oh, but I know comics aren't on here, but are we also agreeing on the Jedi vs. Sith comic not being good? I like the flashback storyline and, getting to know the main villain and how he's not force sensitive and he hates the force. That's interesting. I like that as a villain concept and stuff. That was fun. It's just, I get the annoyance of people that it's like just suddenly switches without much warning. But yeah, I don't agree with that you are confused first time reading. At least I wasn't. Like, I got this pretty quickly. Like, Cloak of Deception, Matt Wilkins' most hated James Luceno book for some reason. This one's great. Okay, we agree. Jedi vs. Sith, the comic. Yeah. It also works in the Bane of the Sith short story by Kevin J. Anderson in a way. But yeah, Rule of Two, it is the weakest. It is. Yeah, structure problems. That's the big thing. Cloak, yeah, it's great. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, we get James Luceno makes the Phantom Menace politics interesting. He makes the Trade Federation stuff interesting. Like, fuck. A. It's a clear fucking A. Chancellor Valorum, such a nothing character in the movie, and here, great, sympathetic, interesting guy. Love it. More Lockdown. One of the reasons I have to put this a bit lower is because of the glaring continuity error, which I've talked about enough. Like, that was just a major fuck up. It's kind of interesting because Joe Schreiber clearly wanted to connect it, and that was an interesting route to take. But he fucked up with the exact timeline placement, and no one caught it in editing because the expanded universe was ending anyway, and they didn't give a fuck anymore. Yeah, and obviously it ties into Plagueis, but everything ties into Plagueis. So Maul Lockdown, it is fun. It's just Maul going like rampage in a fucking prison arena. That's great. But I wasn't a big fan of the twist with the weapons dealer. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Yeah, with Lockdown, so I didn't really like the twist with the villain because it was kind of like, really? A Chiss guy? Really? And that's the twist. Oh, it's one of Thrawn's species. That was kind of a letdown. It's fun, and I recommend it. It's also very rereadable for me. But obviously it also has connections with like Bandogora and the Bounty Hunter video game, Komari Vosa and stuff. So I'm gonna give it a solid B. It's a good book. It suffers from little problems. Oh, solid B, so we agree with this one. Yeah, that's all great, but yeah, with the little problems I have, it puts it a little bit lower. Next is Darth Maul Shadowhunter. This book is fucking awesome. Okay, S. Michael Reeves is such an underrated author. This is just Terminator with Darth Maul in the underground of Coruscant. Sympathetic new characters, Lorne Paven, I5, even the Jedi, and we get the little appearances of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and it leads directly into Phantom Menace. Great book. Great, great book. Because it's underrated, okay? And after reading, suffering through Fate of the Jedi Apocalypse, and then getting to Mercy Kill, it's like I was blessed, okay? It was like coming home. Okay, it was fun. A fun book. Remember when Star Wars had fun in his books? In his books, like yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, S tier. Then we have the Phantom Menace novelization. I have the feeling this is stuff I have to reread because I have only read Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, the books. I've only read once, and my memory isn't the best, but I do remember it being solidly written and adding a little bit, but it's not mind blowing. Fate of the Apocalypse. Yeah, Jason. He just finished it. He's reading Medstar right now, which I'm excited to. Where is it? We're getting to it. So Phantom Menace, I will give it a C. It's just middle of the road. It's good, not great, but it's decent. See, we agree again. Darth Plague. What do I have to say? Darth Plagueis is S. Absolute fucking S tier. James Lucino's best, maybe. It's tied with the Unifying Force for me. I go back and forth, which is the best. But yeah, Unifying Force is the best ending to the Star Wars saga, and Plagueis is the best like prequel to the saga, the beginning. Very good. No argument. And then we get to Rogue Planet. I'm excited about rereading that one. I remember it being boring, but also having interesting moments with Tarkin and Rafe Sina, and establishing like the creation of the Death Star, surprisingly, and it being written before Attack of the Clones. There is some interesting discrepancies with Attack of the Clones in regards to like Jedi and attachment stuff, which I found interesting, and I'm excited to reread that, those parts specifically. And obviously the new Jedi Order tie-ins. But like I said, the writing style wasn't really for me, but it was still interesting enough and developed Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship. Not as good as the Jedi Quest series by Jude Watson, obviously, but I would give it a C and a recommendation. It's not the best thing, but you will get something out of it. Very good. D. Okay, I can see it. It is. I'm sorry. Tyrant's Test, it has the Chewie and Varu stuff, but yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, like I said, it's not as good as Jedi Quest, obviously. Oh, get out of here. No. I won't allow this. Okay, next one is Outbound Flight. It is decent when it's about George Cardis and Thrawn, but the Ceballos stuff, I don't like that he's just as insane as his clone, if not even more. He's essentially Jedi Hitler. And then we have fucking the Anakin and Obi-Wan stuff is so forced in. You can tell Lucasfilm told him, you have to put those two characters in there. We don't care, put them in. And the entire first half is very boring. It's just a setup for the outbound flight. And the Thrawn stuff is good, but it kind of falls into the Hand of Thrawn trend, where Zahn tries to make him like an anti-hero, and that continues with his Disney works, which are garbage for the most part. Well, yeah, they are garbage, but I'm gonna go with. It does have expanded universe connections, like with the Yuuzhan Vong and stuff, and that's rare for Zahn. I'm gonna give it a B, but it's on the lower end of B for me. It's not here yet. Wait for it. Ooh. I don't think I can agree. Damn, now he's getting controversial. Wait till I get to it. Oh, it's next. Approaching Storm. Oh no. Ellen Dean Foster. One of the greats. This book was a swing and a miss. I'm sorry. It's interesting to have Luminara Unduli and Berezofi as main characters. I can appreciate them getting spotlight. That's one good thing. The other good thing is the scene when they all show off like a talent to the tribespeople. That's genuinely a good scene. Other than that, there's nothing in here. I'm so sorry. This doesn't work as a setup for like Attack of the Clones. And it's especially like if you compare like the setup novels, we have Cloak of Deception for Phantom Menace, and we have Labyrinth of Evil for Revenge of the Sith. And then we have Approaching Storm for Attack of the Clones. I mean, it fits like the worst prequel novel for the worst prequel film, but sticking between James Luceno and this book looks even worse somehow. So yeah, Approaching Storm, I'm sorry. I don't want it to put it again like alongside Denning because those books down here really pissed me off. I'm gonna put it in F, but it's not good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah, I think we get that kind of a little bit better in Cestus Deception, where Obi-Wan is finally the negotiator. Yeah, this is just Attack of the Clones. It has more Shmi stuff, which is interesting. It has, I think it had the deleted scenes in it with Anakin spending time with Padme's family, which is bizarre that it was cut out. I guess George cut it out because it humanized the characters and has them act like actual human beings instead of autistic bricks of wood. So, yeah. This one is a solid B. Okay. Okay. Crystal Star is an S tier. It's literally right up there. Best New Republic era trilogy. There's not much to choose. I have to say Thrawn trilogy if we're talking novels, because Corellian trilogy is underrated. Black Fleet is good, but it suffers from the structure in the second book being like very bad. And what else is Callista trilogy isn't an official trilogy. We can't count it. Bounty Hunter Wars, I like more than most people, but it's definitely not the best. It has to be Thrawn trilogy. That's the only trilogy in the Bantam era that feels like it was planned out in advance as a trilogy to actually fill 3 separate books. That's a problem with the Bantam era. They hired an author, the author had an idea, and then they told him, no, not standalone books. Make a trilogy out of it. And so they stretched it. And good stories suffered because of it. Yeah. Indeed. Thank you very much. Do you like where I put Deceived? Deceived is in B. Cestus Deception, I like it. Interesting stuff in here. The clone romance done before Karen Travis came along, interestingly enough, and done better, I would say. Yes. But yeah, it is boring for the most part. I'm gonna put it in D. It's not terrible. I would recommend it, but it's not a great book by any means. Jedi Trial. Oh no, Jedi Trial. Fun backstory. I sat like at a doctor's office when I first read this book, and I had to wait in the waiting room for like 2 hours. And I read it. Well, my Kindle copy. It is a short book. It was like 250 pages or something. And I was like, oh great, I'm gonna get through this quickly. And then I got like in 2 hours only like 60 or 70 pages into it, and it was so slow and so painful. There's nice connections in here, like Nija Halcyon stuff, Corran's grandfather. But oh no, 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 no. I'm gonna put it in E tier. Not good. It is pretty bad. It has its moments, and I guess if you're a big military guy, you will enjoy it because it's definitely the most military Clone Wars novel. Definitely. We may disagree here a little bit, which is surprising. Don't worry, only about Hard Contact. The rest, wait for it. I'm a little bit more fair. Yeah, the romance. Yeah, that's a thing. Hard Contact, I'm gonna give a B. I think this is the best Karen Travis novel by far. Doesn't have the romance bullshit, just these clone guys on a mission, and it's fine. Nothing more to say. And it's short, good pacing, to the point, fine. I would recommend Hard Contact. Shatterpoint, one of the most controversial books of all time, apparently. Nope. It's a solid A. I'm not gonna put it in S because it is a bit long. I agree with that. It's not boring for me, but it could have used a little bit trimming. But it's damn good, man. It's just good. Nothing to say. And I hardcore disagree with Matt Wilkins' bullshit, garbage, retarded opinion that it didn't give Mace Windu like a thing or a character or developed him or anything. Bullshit. Mace Windu is a joke. He doesn't have a character. Sam Jackson terribly acted in the prequels. This book made Mace Windu an interesting character. There is nothing else about him that made him interesting. A little bit in the Republic comics or like the Jedi, one-shot comic where he's like fine, but no, he wasn't a character before this novel. I'm sorry. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Matt Wilkins is in the house. Yeah. The Hard Contact came in the later books. Oh boy. It made him a badass. He wasn't more defined. What did he do in Republic? I remember he tamed some like wild dogs from his home planet in the Melistaire story arc. Is that a hot take? Okay, true story. As you may know, I'm German. And I'm used to watching the Star Wars movies dubbed over in German. The first time I saw Sam Jackson talk in English, like the original audio for the prequels, I legitimately thought that was a joke edit. He sounded so bad. I think that was the first time I have heard Sam Jackson's real voice in English because I was younger and I only watched stuff in German. And it was like, oh my god, what is this? Oh, great, Matt, great. Okay, next one. So cool to read. Okay. Next one is 000. It's not the worst one because the first half is interesting. The entire story is interesting, but the romance takes over near the end, and then we get the pregnancy. It gets a D. It is readable. I would say I would recommend Hard Contact, and I would recommend trying out 000. But if you read it and you get to the romance and you get to the end and you don't like it, don't continue. It's not worth it. That's essentially it. German Mace Windu sounds more intimidating than. That sounds cliche because, yeah, he talks German. Of course, he's more intimidating. He is gonna be racist, but he sounds more like a black man in the German dub for some reason. I'm sorry if that offends you, but his German voice legitimately fits Sam Jackson better than Sam Jackson's actual voice. That's my hot take. Wow, I'm in the top 5. Thank you. Okay, I know you probably put Matt Wilkins before me. Please don't put Alex before me. It would hurt my feelings. The pacing of the romance, understandable. It was rushed. If it was slowly done over the course of like the entire series, with like a payoff of a pregnancy way later, I mean, I would prefer leave a pregnancy out completely. But if it was just a romance, and it was developed over like 3 or 4 books, it would have been fine, probably. Yeah, see, we see something we agree with. True Colors. No, I'm sorry. At this point, I just got too annoyed with the Mandalorian bullshit. I just couldn't take it anymore. We know. And then we get to Medstar Duology, which I will recommend the short story Medstar Intermezzo that takes place in between. If you can find it, read it. You can find it obviously online. You know what I mean? Read it if you enjoyed these books, because holy shit, it's amazing. This underrated, the best Clone Wars books by far. Actually, there's one right after Yoda Dark Rendezvous that I would put above it, but Medstar is an S. I'm sorry. This is just fun. Nothing happens in this duology. Nothing. And it's great. They write about nothing essentially, and it's awesome. These books have such a casual, laid-back atmosphere. You're just hanging out with the characters, and there's some plot, drug smuggling, Black Sun, but who cares, man? You're hanging out with Dendur and I-5, Barizofi and the Doctor. It's just fun. That's just good. And then we get to Yoda Dark Rendezvous S. Masterpiece, underrated. Chris Nelson is right. Chris Nelson is absolutely right. To have this, I think he did have this as his number 1 expanded universe novel. Amazing. It's only a few pages. It was a Star Wars Insider short story, but it's great. It's also open-ended, interestingly enough. And it doesn't get like resolved in like the second book, because that takes place after the short story. So that's great. It's basically our main doctor guy, Joss. He has to deal with like helping an enemy soldier who was responsible for the death of a friend of his, and he has to come to a, does he save the guy or does he kill him? Does he make it look like an accident? And it ends open in a way where it's like you get the feeling he did the right thing, but what is the right thing? Did he, kill him, make it look like an accident, maybe accidentally messed up the surgery, or did he actually help him and save his life? It's great. I really enjoy it. It's not 60. It's like 8 pages. We agree. We absolutely agree. Yeah, all of this stuff. Yoda is written so great. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's also good. It's just damn solid. Mhm. Next is Labyrinth of Evil. Oh boy. I'm sorry. Fucking solid. Absolutely great book. He makes connections to literally everything. I appreciate it. And it's just fast paced, good characterization. I like it. I love it. It's just James Luceno doesn't miss. Revenge of the Sith novelization, also S. It takes a not very good movie and makes it very good. Mm-hmm. Matt Wilkins. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay. Revenge of the Sith, obviously. Order 66. What I remember vividly, every single new chapter opens with here is this clone character. He has a girlfriend. Here's this other clone character in the next chapter. He also has a girlfriend. Okay, third chapter. Here's this clone. He's currently doing this interesting stuff, and he also has a girlfriend. And then here's Kal Skirata, the Mando guy, and he also has now a girlfriend. And there is no story, and Order 66 happens on the last 40 pages. Thanks, Karen. Garbage. Just trash. Mm-hmm. Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. Very enjoyable read. Not as good as Labyrinth of Evil, but I really enjoyed Vader in his early days. I enjoy the new Jedi characters. And it's fun. It's just good old fun. James Luceno. 501st. I mean, Mandalorian bullshit. Clone characters that I don't give a fuck about. Storylines I don't give a fuck about. I don't care if this never gets resolved or anything. It's trash. Rise of Darth Vader A. We agree. Kenobi. I'm sorry. Might be a cliche, but it's S. Okay? It's a damn solid Western story. It feels more like an American Western, and I don't like those. But it is damn solid still. It makes what is interesting, it develops Ben's character. It shows how he becomes, how he transitions from Obi-Wan Kenobi to Ben Kenobi. But it's told through the eyes of new characters that you care about. And that's just so much more interesting, and I like it. And yeah, it definitely is John Jackson Miller's best book. I still prefer the KOTOR comics as like his best work overall, but Kenobi, damn fucking solid. Ooh. Let's continue. Doing this all by myself. My throat starts to hurt. Yeah. This is also something. Setting up a love interest in quotes with Annie Lean, and it's good. Like, because it's not really like a love story or anything, but their interactions and stuff. It's so solid. Annie Lean, one of the best female characters we have, probably. So good. So fucking good. Same with Oren Gold as the villain, and the similarities with his fall to the dark side and Anakin's, and Obi-Wan dealing with it. Great stuff. John Jackson Miller. Okay, Jedi Twilight. I'm excited. Coruscant Knights trilogy. Once I finish my current reread of Annihilation, which I have like 80 pages left, I'm immediately gonna start rereading Coruscant Knights. I remember the whole trilogy being very fun. Detective noir thrillers. And I'm gonna go ahead. Jedi Twilight is an A. Street of Shadows is an A, but I think Street of Shadows is the best one. It has the most classical detective noir feeling, and with like this love interest who's like the wife of like this murdered artist, and Jax and the guys trying to figure out what happened. I like it. Force Unleashed 2 comic. Mhm. And then the third book, I know people say it falls off in quality. It has a weirder element with the kid and his very strong force powers. I agree that that's a little bit strange, but I do think it's on par. And I think it's a decent ending to the trilogy. And then we get The Last Jedi. I wouldn't call it steaming garbage, but it's not. I fail to see what the point was, because it's just another adventure with like Jax, Paven, and his friends, but we lose one character, and then I just don't get the point. Like, it doesn't deliver a satisfying conclusion. I don't know. Maybe more was planned and never happened. But as a standalone sequel to the trilogy, it's a disappointment. I have to put it in D. I'm sorry. It's not the worst thing in the world, and you can definitely read it. But it's just a disappointing way, because Michael Reeves is one of my favorite authors. He's highly underrated. But yeah, the lesson is never call your story The Last Jedi, because your story will suck. This book, the comic from Marvel, The Last of the Jedi series by Jude Watson, I like it, but it's the weakest of her stuff. And then there's apparently a movie made by Disney. The Paradise Snare. The Paradise Snare. S. AC Crispin did her homework. This book is awesome. Even if you don't get all the connections, which is great stuff, this made Han Solo an interesting character. I never cared much about Han. I cared about Luke and Lando especially. But this made Han interesting. This is fun. And this is a good love story. Paradise, and it doesn't have any of the tropes. Like when the Han Solo movie came out, I haven't seen it, but I've been told, it's one movie covering everything that happened in Han's life. It's basically he got all his iconic stuff in one day, essentially. This book doesn't have Chewbacca. It doesn't have Lando. It doesn't have the Millennium Falcon. It doesn't have anything from the movies that Han is famous for, basically. This is his young life, his backstory. It stands on its own. And it fucking works. It rocks. It fucking rocks. Paradise Snare, it's the best of the trilogy, in my opinion. The rest of the trilogy is stretched out, but let's go over it. Hutt Gambit. The connections are insane in this one. She even connects to the original Marvel comics, which she doesn't need to do at all, but she does. So it's a little bit weaker, I would say. A little bit from an S. But at the same time, I feel bad if I don't put it in S, because it's so good. It's... I have to. I'm sorry. I have to put Hutt Gambit in S as well as Rebel Dawn. I just have to group it together. Yeah. AC Crispin, highly underrated. I wish she would have gotten to write her Leia backstory book or trilogy that she wanted to do. Yeah. See, I'm torn, because I do think a Paradise Snare is better than the both of them. But I just don't know if I can put them in A. I'm gonna leave them in S for now. Next up is The Lost Tribe of the Sith. Yeah, we don't talk. She wrote this trilogy and 2 short stories, and sadly, that's it. I know she also wrote a Jack Sparrow prequel novel that got thrown in the trash because of Dead Men Tell No Tales, whatever. Who cares? I'm gonna read that one if it's even slightly as good as her Han Solo backstory. Holy shit! Lost Tribe of the Sith, I'm probably also a bigger fan of than most. I like it. Seeing this Sith society develop over the centuries on this remote planet is fun. It has a fun Sith character with Varna Hills, and I just enjoy it. I think it's a very quick read and, yeah, just entertaining. I'm gonna give it a strong B. It's good. It's enjoyable. It's excellent. Good to hear. I'm looking forward to reading it. I was thinking of maybe trying to self-print it, but I would have to make like a cover file and everything, and it's like that's difficult. Next up, the entire Lando trilogy. S. Mind Harp of Sharu, Flame Wind of Ocean. Lando is the greatest Star Wars character, and I will not take any different opinion unless it's Pelion, because Pelion, that's also understandable. This trilogy, it is 1980s Indiana Jones-esque Star Wars on LSD. It's absolutely wonderful and insane. The Brian Daly Han Solo books. Nostalgic, extremely cheesy, corny, 70s, 80s stuff. Also extremely fun, and it has this Wild West feeling of the early expanded universe, which I like. Oh yeah, but it has Lando is a chain smoker, and he calls people retards in it. That's awesome, man. That's an instant S. Okay. Next up, Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Okay, let's go into both of them. Let me think for a second. Okay. Force Unleashed 1. It feels like someone is writing down what he's seeing on screen. The action scenes are terrible. The characterization, no. The character development, no. The romance between Juno and Galen, no. I'm sorry, man. This is an E at best. You know what? No, I'm sorry, F. Okay, I'm looking at the other stuff in here. No, it's gotta be an E. Yeah, we agree with this one. Force Unleashed 2, way better. When it's not telling us the story of the game, like when Williams is writing about Juno Eclipse, it's solid. If this was a novella, a standalone novella, just about Juno Eclipse helping out the early rebellion, I would give this an A, honestly. That's solid. But then you have all the Galen Merrick Starkiller stuff, and it's the story from the game. And the story is just, I'm a clone, or maybe not, and I'm searching for my girlfriend. Where is she? Have you seen her? And now I'm fighting a giant monster. Where's my girlfriend? And that's it. That's not a story. This is a joke. That's not a story. So just for the Juno Eclipse stuff, this gets a C. Very high comparatively, but you know. Akbar Seeing Targan. I have played them when I was younger. Some of my first Star Wars games, I played them on the Wii. And I don't even remember if I finished the second one. I remember maybe giving up on the Darth Vader boss fight. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I did play through them. Oh yeah, you mean Shark T, the Kenny of Star Wars. Next up, we have Death Troopers. It's okay. It's nothing special. They advertised that it's the first horror novel in Star Wars. Galaxy of Fear has entered the chat, but no. It's zombie fun. It's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm gonna give it a B. It's fine, whatever. At least it's a fun, fast-paced book. That much is true. I prefer more Lockdown. That's a little bit more ambitious. And then we get to Death Star. I was curious about this one when I first read it. It's just about a bunch of like average people working on the Death Star and their lives and what's happening, and it's great fun. It works really well. Maybe a little bit too many characters, true, but Michael Reeves, man, and Steve Perry as a co-author. This has to go into A as well. And then we have Shadow Games. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, but the Lego Star Wars games. She's also killed in those by Anakin in the temple. Oh my god, I've been going for an hour and 30 minutes and I'm still not done. Too many books. Almost done. Shadow Games, underrated novel dash render. It's the first in the unofficial Shadow trilogy. Because we got Shadow Games, Shadows of the Empire, and Shadows of the Empire Evolution. We have a trilogy. And this one also would have almost been co-written by Steve Perry, but he dropped out. Yeah, it is more good than bad. I would like to see like this made into a statistic at the end with like the in percentage and stuff. But yeah, Shadow Games very underrated. This is it an S? Just because I don't remember enough about it, I have to put it in A. I'm gonna reread it along with like Coruscant Nights and stuff. Michael Reeves, like I said, great author, underrated one. Yeah, the German title is also legendary. Shadow Games in the Shadows. So yeah, it's an A. It's an A for now. Yeah, so Michael Reeves is doing pretty good. The New Hope novelization. It's charming. It feels old, and yeah, it's decent. I have fun rereading it. I would put it in B. Good book. Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. Okay, understandable, but I think the book on its own has its charm to it. Yeah, like I said, she's Kenny from South Park. Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. I recently read this one again. S. One or two weaker stories in here, but I mean, we all know the reason why it has to go in S. It is the first story. It has the first story in it about Boshak. And you know how it is. Like, if it has Boshak in it, how can we even criticize it? It's Boshak. So for that reason alone, it's an S. Scoundrels. Good story idea, terrible timeline placement, and bad choice of author, I want to say. I know it was Zahn's passion project, but this book, this exact story, and maybe characters, but written by Aaron Alston, and it would be a 10 out of 10. The problem I have with it, aside from like, oh, it kind of tramples on AC Crispin, which that criticism got softened a little bit because I also read the Yavin Vasilica comic, which is hot trash, and did it first and worst. Scoundrels, if it was written by Alston, it would be a 10 out of 10 because he would make the characters fun. If you make an Ocean's 11 type story, like this here, Scoundrels, the characters need to be fun, memorable guys, like the Wraith Squadron. You get Alston or you get Michael Reeves even. And then you have something good in here. Charismatic, fun, quirky characters. You have Timothy Zahn, and that's not the case. You get pretty much just bland, whatever characters who are intelligent enough and fulfill their purpose and do their job, but they don't stay in your head afterwards. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever. I think Winter was in it, and Kel Tainer from Rave Squadron was in it. I don't remember what they did, but they were in it. And then if I think it had like twins in it, and one of the guys was like uh, Ellen Sleaze Begano's species, but fuck if I remember anything else. Yeah, yeah. So Scoundrels is a D. It's a D, but it's close to a C. Because the plot structure, it's well structured, it's well thought out. The plot itself, everything. Han and Lando on their own are decent, but again, Zahn, I don't know. He's just missing something, especially in regards to the characters. Oh no, Akbar's girlfriend. Yeah, 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 that famous joke. Allegiance steaming garbage. I don't. The only thing I remember, this Rise in it, who's one of the villains in the Hand of Thrawn duology, which is nice. Some connections. But otherwise, this is such badly written trash we've seen before in the Rebellion era. The only element is like, okay, young Mara Jade is an Emperor's Hand. Fun. But boring. Her storyline is boring. Seeing a young Mara Jade doing work for the Empire is interesting, but her plotline is boring. The Hand of Judgment stormtroopers going renegade. Okay. Cool concept. Poor execution. I don't remember any of these guys. Yeah, sucks. Choices of One. It gets F. It's slightly better because it has Thrawn, George Cardis, Pelion, and what's his face? Nuso Eswa. And that's an interesting, like, overall story. It's like a puzzle box. You only learn that that's the main story near the end. So that's interesting and good, but then you have Luke and Han and Leia terribly written. Rebellion era trash. Mara's storyline is more interesting in this one, and I like Mara's character more in Choices of One, which is why it's a step up from Allegiance. Allegiance is so completely and utterly forgettable. You're more friendly than I am, but yeah. Honor Among Thieves, C. It's decent, good character work, easy to read, fun. It has a certain Lando Calrissian trilogy feeling, which is good, especially near the end. And yeah, it's good. It's inconsequential, obviously, because it's a Rebellion era book. Yeah, the unofficial reboot. Yeah, in a way it does, yeah. Galaxy's Ruins of Dantooine. E. This story is so boring and so predictable. I called the twist after the prologue. 5 pages in, or even less than 5 pages, and you could already guess what the twist was going to be. And the book tries to play it like it's a big secret, and it drops little hints because, oh, the reader wouldn't have figured it out by now. Bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna reread it at some point because it is very short, so we shall see. But no, it's not good. It's not good. It gets an E, and that's only because the author is very attractive. Speaking of attractive authors, Alan Dean Foster, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Not a great book, but it has its old classic charm. You know, being the first expanded universe novel, if we don't count the novelization, it's fun. It gets a C. Not the best book, but I would recommend. Hmm. Razor's Edge. I'm getting sleepy. Razor that fits with Razor's Edge because Razor's Edge It's not okay. Here's the weird thing: it's not badly written. The characters are not badly written. The plot itself isn't necessarily bad, but it's nothing. It's literally, I can't even say it's bad or boring because I read this book in a day. But it's just nothing. It feels like staring at a gray wall. And it's like, oh, it is a gray wall. You know, it's well painted. It's gray. I can't say, can say nothing. There's nothing in here. So for that reason, it has to get an F. I'm sorry. The cover is nice, but yeah, just a disappointment, especially because it's a Leia novel, and Leia is not. She's not even badly written, but it's nothing, and that's a shame. Empire Strikes Back novelization, it gets a C. Not as good as the New Hope novelization, but it's decent enough. It's a quick read. Yeah, nothing more to add. Tales of the Bounty Hunters. It's gotta get an S. For the Boba Fett story alone. Boba Fett, Dengar, and Zuckuss. The Zuckuss and Forlom. Those 3 short stories are the highlight. Then we have the Bosk story, which is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of. And we got the IG-88 story, which by Kevin Janderson, which for me is between so stupid and retarded that it's fun, and so retarded that it's just retarded. It's somewhere in between, and I flip-flop back and forth. But overall, it has to be up here. The Tales of books, at least the initial trilogy, is up there. Ooh, hot take. Next up, Shadows of the Empire. This is the quintessential 90s Star Wars book. I look at it and I think of like 90s trading cards, ugly video games, Dash Render, the cheap Han Solo knockoff, and rapist Shizor with his sex bot. It's gotta go up there. It's not the greatest written. It has this trashy, fun feeling. And I have to put it in A because, that's how it is. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. And then we get the Return of the Jedi novelization. This book, underrated. James Caan, underrated author. He expanded upon the film, he changed certain elements. And he made Darth Vader's death scene a million times better. Like, that scene is a tearjerker in the novel. It's great. It's a masterpiece. It goes into S. It's on my top 10 favorite expanded universe books, despite being a novelization. I think it's better than Revenge of the Sith. For real. The novelization by Stover. So, yeah. Oh shit, people are revolting against me on my Discord. Great. Yeah, and as you can see, I put Return of the Jedi novelization in S, where it belongs. Next up, we have Tales from Jabba's Palace, which also is an S. Again, the original Tales trilogy is just excellent. Then, are the other 2 Tales books even on here? They aren't. Okay, that's 4 books missing. No, that's Tales from the Bounty Hunters. That's the Boba Fett short story. Okay, is Granny Toast still in the chat? You missed it. You missed 4 books now. No Prisoners. Oh no, sorry, 3 books. No Prisoners, Tales from the New Republic, Tales of the Empire. Yeah. if he's still here, or maybe tell him on Discord, he fucked up. Again, we have to just think about those. Okay, remind me. 3 books missing. The Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, the most controversial trilogy in the history of Star Wars, right? Okay. Dawn of the... You fuck up. Marcel, tell him he's a fuck up in Discord. Tell him, please. He has to fix this immediately. Okay, let's ignore Tales of the Dawn of the Jedi down there and get to the Bounty Hunter Wars. Okay. Book 1 is the best. I give it a B. Books 2 and 3, I give a C. There's stuff in here that I definitely enjoy. I enjoy Boba Fett being a 90s awesome badass. I enjoy Bosk. I like that stuff. But yeah, it shouldn't have been a trilogy. It could have been just 1 book. But it's decent enough for me. Oh no, wait. Sorry. We do have Tales from the Empire. But we don't have Tales... Or do we? Am I retarded? I mean, I know I am, but... No. Am I crazy? Is Tales from the New Republic on here? If so, okay, only 2 books missing. Tales from the Empire is on here. I don't see Tales from the New Republic. Yeah. Okay, Tales of the Empire, it goes into C. Yeah. It's decent. It's a best-of collection from the Insider Shorts, but there is no overarching narrative. They could have called this book anything, like Insider Best-of. Tales from the Empire suggests to me all of those stories are set during the Rebellion era, so to speak, but no. There is stuff in here from the New Republic era. And then the New Republic era book, Tales from the New Republic, has Rebellion era short stories in it, which is inexcusable. You could have literally... Those 2 books, I think, came out somewhat around the same time. You could have just 5 books from Tales from the Empire, which take place during the New Republic era, and you put them in the New Republic era book instead. And then you take the 5 Rebellion era stories out of the New Republic book and put it into the Empire Tales book. Problem solved. But no, they didn't do it. And so, yeah. Tales of the New Republic is not on here. It would be in C. Okay. Remember that. Next up, Truce at Bakura is a solid A. Underrated book. I had great fun with it. Kathy Tyers, again, I wish she would have written a little bit more. Oh boy. Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Mindor. This is my favorite Stover novel. It is S tier. Best Luke Skywalker story out there. Yeah, I think it's a shame that it's only remembered as like, oh, this book takes place 1 day after Endor. I think that's a detriment to the book because it has lots of good stuff going on in it, but that's like the only thing people remember. Oh, it's the book right after Jedi. It's not. You are bad. Shadows of Mindor is a masterpiece. It's both a throwback to the Brian Daley and Lando novels and Splinter, as well as the Marvel stuff. And it's also like a meta take on the whole thing. For me, yes. Okay, you have a bad opinion. And it did happen. The story, as told in the book, it is implied that it's just an in-universe holodrama screenplay, essentially, but not really. It's left open, and by the end, especially when Luke talks about this is not how it happened, and he talks about stuff we didn't read about, means no, this is the actual depiction of events. This did happen. X-Wing Rogue Squadron, boring. C. I'm sorry. I don't think Stackpole is that great of a writer. Oh, okay. Fen Scheiser was reading the book for me. Is he Leia's ex or what? Leia meets Fen Scheiser, the Mandalorian, with the very unfortunate last name. They meet in the original Marvel comics. I recently reread those issues. Reviews are coming in months because I'm only at issue 18 and that's like issue 60 something. Fen kind of has a thing for Leia, a flirtatious thing. Leia is not really into him at all. So don't worry, there's not like a romance thing really going on. She kind of, there's a fun scene. She abuses, well, she doesn't abuse him, but she like tricks him with his feelings for her because she's only after Han at this point. And Fen is involved in something that could lead her to Han. And it's interesting. It's well done, I think. Weirdly flirted. In his first appearance, which is the only one I reread so far, it's not that weird. It's done well. What's next? X-Wing Wedge's Gamble. This was a step up, I feel, from Rogue Squadron, which I've just found boring. Same for Krytos Trap and Bacta War. I would put all of these in B, but they are close to like mediocre for me. It was implied to be made up. That's the thing, it's implied. But by the end of it, Luke pretty much confirms that most of what we read actually happened. Because he specifically mentions, what you wrote here is bullshit. Yeah, whatever. Then we get to X-Wing Rave Squadron, S. Or maybe A? No, I have to put the whole trilogy in. Okay, no, you know what? Rave is a solid A approaching S. Iron Fist is a definite S. And then Solo Command is a definite A again, closing in on S. I'm not a fan of Stackpole. I think his writing leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not the biggest Corran Horn fan, and I don't think he has any memorable characters, really. Sorry. His writing is clunky. I don't like it. Alston is just a better writer overall. I don't think that's controversial. Courtship of Princess Leia. This is fun, goofy. The book knows it's goofy and has fun with it. And it introduced a lot of shit that's very important later on. I like it. It gets a solid A. Tatooine Ghost. Oh god. It gets a C, and it's probably Denning's best book. Yeah, it's probably Denning's best, but it's really boring. It's way too long. It's okay-ish. Yeah, that's good stuff. Heir to the Empire. This gets a solid A. I don't think it's a complete masterpiece. It has its problems. Something that Tom Veach pointed out, funny enough. It's not cinematic enough. The squibs. Oh, they are terrible. Not really. We will get to it in a minute. I think. Is iJedi even on here? Yeah, it is. Okay. Dark Force Rising. This I will give an S, actually. I think Dark Force Rising is the best of the Thrawn trilogy. The best middle book, simply. And then we get The Last Command, which is an A again. So yeah, solid trilogy. Isard's Revenge, D. Completely forgettable. I didn't get anything out of it. It's nice that it has a lot of connections to the X-Wing comic series, but that's about it. for me. Now we get to everyone's favorite. Please write your comments. I'm gonna drink something. I'm dying here. Yeah. I get it with the trilogies and the ending. But for me, the reason I put Dark Force Rising above is because think of like the middle chapters of trilogies. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them are filler and bad in comparison to beginning and end. And the middle is supposed to be the most important part in a way, because but you know, and that's why I just put Dark Force Rising above. I think it's a step up from Heir to the Empire. Oh no. Okay, let's get to it then. Okay, Alex, thank you for at least recognizing this, because I'm sure Matt Wilkins will try to tell you, oh, it's Nobel Prize worthy, it's great literature, probably. No. Yes, if it was a YA novel, if it was shorter and it cuts out all of the bullshit plots that don't amount to anything, it would be more liked. As it is, Jedi Surge is a C, it's readable. And then we get to Dark Apprentice, which is a D, and then Champions of the Force, which is an E. This trilogy is so bad. Josh left my channel. He left YouTube altogether. He left the internet behind. He only recently returned on the Discord. Sometimes. This is how bad this trilogy is. It caused Brexit. The Jedi Academy trilogy literally caused Brexit. This is what Kevin gave us with his trilogy here. But like I said, Darksaber was an improvement. That felt like Kevin realized, like he listened to the criticism about the Jedi Academy trilogy, and he was like, okay, I can do better. And he tried. He failed in a lot of areas, but he tried, and that makes Darksaber better. Yes. Yes. Okay, what's next? iJedi. I don't hate Corran Horn. I don't hate first person. It's retarded to hate the first person writing style, and I stand by that. That's the dumbest. I have never heard anyone hate on the first person writing style before I, knew Matt Wilkins. What a fucking bizarre thing to hate. But iJedi, my problem with it is too long. It simply is too long. Interesting enough story and like setup. Corran is fine. I like his little problems with the Force and telekinesis and stuff. His special ability, him becoming friends with Elegos, is fun, and connections to the X-Wing comics, which is also nice. Yeah, and obviously it ties into the Jedi Academy trilogy, and it tries to retcon some of the absolute retardation from that trilogy, which is nice. Yeah. So I would put it in C. It's fine. I have nothing against it. I have no great love for it, but yeah, sure, whatever. Oh yeah, thank you. Someone just posted it on the Discord. The Jedi Academy trilogy literally caused Brexit, quote, quality autism. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I love it. Pissing on Anderson. Next up is Revan, which I recently reread. It's boring. It's Lord Scourge is cool. That's it. That's literally. I don't care about Revan. I don't care about this fucking retarded garbage Old Republic era. The most overhyped trash I've ever seen. I'm writing a book. I'm literally writing a book about this era. And it's the dumbest shit. Researching it. You people like this? Average casual fans tell me Old Republic, that's where it's at, bro. That's what the Star Wars Expanded Universe was the best at. Old Republic is retarded. Apart from Tales of the Jedi and the Knights of the Old Republic comics, it's trash. It's a fucking garbage era with some of the worst stories. Fucking SWOTOR. I'm halfway through it, like with writing about the storylines. All of this stuff sounds absolutely terrible. Well, some of it just sounds like okay, whatever. And then you get like Revan returns, and then he explodes, and then he returns as a dark side Revan zombie who tries to resurrect the Sith Emperor for some reason. And people try to explain this to me, and it's just a what? What a bunch of fucking nonsense. I haven't even gotten to this the cool stuff. Eternal Empire? Jesus. I did some Let's Plays of KOTOR. I can't continue. The game crashed. My Steam version is broken. Literally, after every cutscene of Darth Malgus ordering to destroy Terrace, the game just shuts down. It's I can't continue. Even if I want to, and I don't want to. Yes. Best thing to come out of the Old Republic is fucking Farron Shan, honestly. He has the best comic, the best novel, the best short stories. As far as I'm aware, he's the best character in all of the Old Republic era. Sorry, not sorry. They are not. Video games are garbage made for retards. They are the worst thing in existence. The only thing worse is RPGs. Because I've been told Knights of the Old Republic is an RPG, it's trash. It's the worst thing I have ever played. And yeah, it just shows me, yeah, trash, trash. I think that's what I wrote about. That seems to be pretty basic, logical stuff. And then I think I got into the expansions and stuff, and it's like, what is any of this? This just seems. I don't like it. Revan, I don't feel a character at all. The book seems to try like it wants to make Revan seem cool and awesome. It fails. Lord Scourge is pretty cool. Mitra Surik is not a character. Her entire plotline is dumb. It doesn't make sense and apparently contradicts KOTOR 2, but I don't care. And the ending is rushed and terrible. And obviously, it's a marketing thing. It ties into the game, SWOTOR. But overall, this is just a boring read. Like, as someone who doesn't care about this era or these characters, this book is nothing. Like, this is just it was readable. Let's leave it at that. Because people are stupid. Okay, yeah, see. Okay, if that's the case, maybe that will be fun to write about. If Farron Shan is in it. I'm convinced Farron is the only good character. I think pretty much everyone would agree with me that he has the only good comic and book and short stories. One of the SWOTOR short stories on the website is set after the Annihilation novel, and it's literally just Farron Shan and his dad, Jace Malcolm, having dinner in a restaurant and talking a little bit, and it's nothing. And this is one of the best short stories they have published online. It tells you how trash the rest is. I don't care. It's nonsense. Video games are trash. Next up is the Clone Wars novelization. I can't even blame this one completely on Karen because it's the Clone Wars. Yes, I said this at the beginning. No Prisoners is missing, and Tales from the New Republic is missing. Tales from the New Republic is in C, just imagine it's there, and No Prisoners, since, okay, we are done with the Clone Wars, so No Prisoners is in E. Okay, it's in E. I would recommend it because it has fucking Pelion in it. And Pelion is a Giga Chat. Everything with Pelion in it is a million times better already. But it also has Ahsoka in it and TCW connections. and it feels like fan fiction. It feels like that book really shows how the Star Wars expanded universe on this side and TCW on this side don't merge at all. It feels like if Luke Skywalker meets Batman. That's what this book feels like. It has Pelion and Callista on one side, and then Ahsoka and Captain Rex on the other, and it's like, it doesn't work. It's trash. But it has Pelion, so I would still recommend it. But it's in E. Yeah, yeah. The people who like it, they seem to just look at the character designs or they watch YouTube videos on Nihilus or whatever. And they say, oh man, this looks like the most epic fucking shit ever, dude. It's a bunch of fucking 12-year-olds. Yeah, it has Callista. Yeah. Okay, wild whatever it's called. Wild space. F. It had a point to it, trying to show how Obi-Wan and Bale became friends, but it's so long, it's so boring. It's just it would have done well as a short story or maybe a novella. I don't know, but not this way. And not as a TCW tie-in. Then we get Siege in Gambit, a steaming pile of trash. I would rather get cancer than read those books again. Yeah, nothing else to say. I hate them. Then we get. Now we get into the fucking meat. Guys! First off, Dawn of the Jedi is on here. Ignore it. We already talked about it. It's on here twice. Because the person who made this didn't pay enough attention and he missed Tales of the New Republic and No Prisoners. Again, I have to remind him he has to update this for you guys to use because I want to link this. Heart of the Jedi is for me a solidish A. I would put it on around the same level as Truth at Bakura. I think it's a fun 90s novel. It has an Indiana Jones, definitely an Indiana Jones feeling, especially the ending is basically Last Crusade. So, yeah. Just fun, a great, great piece of work. Not a masterpiece, but I mean, it's fun. That's all I wanted. Next up, we have. We will save this one when Chris Nelson shows up. He can tell us about it. Lightsider, the most recent addition to the expanded universe. The version that I leaked online, that I have, is the 1997 original manuscript. And apparently, what has been released to the wider public was like the 2008 revised version with like prequel connections in it, which I haven't read. I don't know. But yeah, Lightsider was so fucking good. But I don't know how to rank it because I still have this feeling like I'm looking at it more positively because it's new EU. And that's basically rose-colored glasses, so to speak, without being nostalgic for it. It's because it's brand new and I have a high opinion of it right now. But if I revisit it, the story itself, if I just look at it, okay, I have to put it in A. It's not perfect, but my god, it was so good. It was so damn good. Yeah, we will talk about Escape from the Goo when Chris Nelson joins. Next up, one of, if not the most forgotten trilogy in all of Star Wars, Dark Forces. Soldier for the Empire, Book 1. This is the prequel of the Dark Forces video game, the first one. Yep. Oh, that's a punch in the balls. Yeah, I get that feeling. And just in a moment, okay? Dark Forces. Soldier for the Empire. I think this is the one I enjoyed the most. It's a very standalone story. It's a prequel to the game, so obviously it's a standalone. And then the end of the book is basically an adaptation of the first level of Dark Forces. I've been told. I've played the series, but only starting with Dark Forces 2 because I can't find Dark Forces the original for PC. I would play that otherwise. I enjoyed the rest of the series. Um, yeah, so the first book, I really, really enjoy it. I'm gonna put it in A. It has a 90s video game-ish quality about it. It has this charm, and I have to put it up there. Then the second book, Rebel Agent. This is an adaptation of the second game, Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. They have such a terrible system of labeling these games, what is what. But yeah, this is a solid B. I like it very much, but it's a step down. And then we have the third book, Jedi Knight, which is an A again, because what I liked is the young Dark Jedi. What was he called again? Yoon? He was made interesting in this book. There's an entire chapter just about him, and it's great. It was bad. You're fucking kidding me, right? Is it still banned? That's impossible. It can't be banned anymore. That's fucking retarded. Probably because I don't know, violent content. Wasn't there a thing with like the Jedi Knight games, the German version? You can't use your lightsaber to cut off limbs and stuff unless you use like a cheat code or you hack into the system or something. I vaguely remember hearing about this. Yeah, it's because the Germans are pussies about violence in video games and movies. It has gotten better a little bit with movies because, okay, reminder, back in the day, Army of Darkness, the Sam Raimi movie, the third Evil Dead film, which is a comedy, that was rated like R rated, or in the German system, FSK 18. It's clearly not anymore because why would it be? There's literally no blood in it. It's insane. Yeah, but I couldn't find it on Steam. They released Postal 2 on Steam. At one point, they removed it again. You can still buy it on the website of the publisher, though, so that's fine. So yeah. Okay, 2 novellas left. We have Emissary of the Void. This counts as its own book. This is a novella, not just a short story. It's long enough to be considered a novella. It's Greg Keyes. It's a sequel to Junior Jedi Knights and the character of Uldir. And this makes Uldir one of my favorite characters. This story is fucking awesome. Even if you don't know Junior Jedi Knights, I think you will like this and Uldir's character in it. He's the guy, he doesn't have force powers, but he wanted to become a Jedi. He didn't. He accepted that. And now he's still working with the Jedi for the Jedi. He gets tangled up in an adventure during the Yuuzhan Vong War, teams up with a female Jedi. They get sucked into this adventure. There's twists and turns. A dark Jedi is in it. Uldir proves himself at the end, and he even gets the girl at the end. This story is fucking great. This is an unsung masterpiece, underrated as fuck. S tier, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Don't games get censored with like swastikas in them, not with Nazi shit? I'm pretty sure that's still getting censored, right? Unless they change that as well, which would be nice. Okay. Last book, Skywalkers, a Clone Wars story. I'm torn on this book. It feels like both a love letter to the expanded universe with all the connections. At the same time, it feels like hardcore fan fiction written by an autistic person, which, I mean, nothing against Abel Gpenia, but he probably is. Most of us are. Me too. The story is fine. Like, even if you don't know that this is a prequel to the old Marvel Star Wars Annual, it works as its own story during the Clone Wars. It tries to fit in TCW into the timeline, though, and that's not good because it doesn't work. And all of the connections in here put my brain into hyperdrive. Like, oh my god, this is a connection to this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This is all in here. And I just couldn't take it. It was literally too much. And that's saying something. I'm gonna put it in B. It's solid. It's solid, but holy fuck. It gets overwhelming, honestly. Oh yeah. The villain is great. Really? Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Okay. And we already ranked Dawn of the Jedi into the void. Anyone wants to rank Escape from Dagu? Would Chris Nelson please stand up? Chris Nelson, we need you right now. What would you give Escape from Dagu? Where would you put it? Okay, how about, if I was a big YouTuber, what they sometimes do is like they give like a little like a post address where you can send stuff to. Because if one of you guys sent me the books, the High Republic books, then I would read them. If I don't have to pay for them, I may read them. But I'm not gonna go out, buy the books, and read them just for the reviews. If anything, it would have to be for like a special occasion or anything. But I have beyond zero interest in the High Republic. I'm trying to read more non-Star Wars books this year. Look at me, I just made this ranking here. Okay, I think we are done. And yeah, I have to write the guy who made this because he's missing 2 books. Tales from the New Republic, and what was the other one? No Prisoners. That's it, right? Or can you think of any other novel or big novella that's missing? I'm gonna write him right now. Missing 2 books. And Dawn of the Jedi in there twice. That's it. Nope. Nope. I do own Aftermath. Alex, we can maybe at some point do another stream reading Aftermath. Or maybe Marcel, because he's the bigger reading guy on his YouTube channel. Maybe we can do our own little audio drama of Aftermath. Last time was great. I got to play all the Imperial officers because obviously they have German accents because they're Nazis. That was fun. Maybe we can even get Josh back. He can do like his Alec Guinness impression again, which was great. Or his racist Indian accent, which will get him cancelled. All right. 12 viewers, that's good. So yeah, I'm done here. This is it. Escape from Dagu. Chris. Tales from the Empire is on here. It's in C. Let me show you. Here it is. Here's Tales from the Empire. So yeah, only. Oh, I think he said he did add no prisoners. So only Tales from the New Republic is missing in the latest version of this. I will link this probably on my like community tab on YouTube. Josh, Now you return. I'm done. You missed so much good stuff. You can watch this whole fucking thing later. Basically, what I just said. You have to come back on here. We're gonna do a fucking audio drama of Aftermath, and we need your Alec Guinness impersonation. Okay? I'm gonna play all the Nazi Imperial officers, and yeah, we will see how it goes. Oh yeah, I love Cormac McCarthy. The Road is one of my favorite novels. I have read it once before in German, the translation. It is terrible. But maybe I'm gonna do something there. I don't know. Jedi, definite, and my fan fiction trilogy, definitely. Oh, by the way, Alex, I hope you know what I hope now that Matt Wilkins is reviewing them. I hope he reviews my trilogy in his videos. That would be fun. He would have to read them again, though. He's probably not gonna do that, but that would be nice. The Word G compare. Oh, that's also missing. What's on here is Escape from the Goo and a second version of Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void. I would say The Road, or maybe No Country for Old Men, if you have seen the movie and like that book. But I would say The Road is a pretty good first one. It was for me. Mhm. So yeah, that's basically it. 2 hours, 20 minutes, but I'm done with ranking. This is insane. So if someone makes like a ranking for like all the comics and all the YA books, that's gonna be a nightmare because when I think of the YA stuff, I group them all together. Some of them I don't think I can differentiate, like Jedi Quest or Last of the Jedi. That would be, oof, that would be a hard one. But yeah, right now this is the best version of a Legends book tier list out there. Still missing one book, Tales from the New Republic, but once he added that in, that's gonna be it. All right. Anything else to talk about? If not, I'm gonna go to bed. Oh no, actually, I'm gonna read a little bit more Annihilation. Almost done. And after that, I can jump into Coruscant Nights again. Yeah, I was thinking, but that ties into what I just said. It ties in with like, should I do a top 10 book series, YA book series, ranking them this way, or specific books within those different series, which is harder for me. I think ranking them like in a group together is easier. And maybe better for like newcomers checking it out. But yeah, that's that. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, Supernatural Encounters. I still don't believe it's coming out. This has become a running joke, but Joe is the George R. R. Martin of the Star Wars fanbase. I almost wish Supernatural Encounters will never be released, just so this joke can continue. And the joke on all the people who have paid money for it and they never will get anything. Sorry. Nothing against Joe or anything. I'm just an asshole and I think this is funny because I think he even. I have found quotes from 2018 where he said, "Oh, I will release this year. Almost done." And here we are, 2023. Still nothing. Which my book is already online on Amazon. And I'm already working on the second one. To, clapping myself on the back. No, if that's in it. I think Marcel told me he paid like $100. To be fair, Canadian dollars. So it's pretty much worthless. It's monopoly money. I don't know how much the Americans paid. I don't know if any Europeans paid in euros. I don't know. I would like to know. I think I've been told it's like $100 or more that people paid for it, for like a hardcover with full illustrations and stuff, which sounds nice, but I didn't because, well, I came in pretty late, and I have no real interest in the book. When it's released, I'm gonna read it, but it's not like I'm looking forward to, oh my god, Supernatural Encounters is coming, because it's not coming. It hasn't been coming for like what, 10 years? But yeah, with the canon stuff, oh god, someone made like the theory that the last time he postponed it was because he wanted to insert like Endor connections, like the Disney Plus show, and it's like, oh, that's disgusting. That's legitimately disgusting. If that's the case, I don't know. That's rumors I've heard about, but yeah, I have been shown by fucking Demagol on Discord. He makes like one mention that like Splendid App created a parallel dimension that's like terrible and lifeless, and that's like the Disney universe. If that's the only mention, like as a little like not thing, I can deal with it. If he actually connects it hardcore with like, if he brings in the world between worlds shit, oh my god, no. Hard pass. Hard pass. No. I will read it when it's, I'm guessing it's available for all people online, right? Like, yeah, probably uncut and everything. So I'm gonna read it that way. It's apparently like a giant monstrum of like 1,000 pages or more. We shall see. It's a weird topic. I'm checking Discord quick. Okay. It will be on his website. Okay, fine. See. Uh, he's bringing in World Between Worlds and Bendu. Oh no, Joe. Joe, no. Don't. Just don't, man. Joe has been telling everyone it's happening for the last 5 years. I have an actual list of him saying, "Oh, it's coming, guys," with recent updates. "Oh, it's almost finished, over halfway done. It's almost finished, only pictures missing. It's almost finished, I'm editing a little bit of it. Oh, it's almost finished, I'm going to the printers. Oh, it's almost finished, but I have to delay it. Oh, it's almost finished, but..." And it goes on and on. And the list I have, because someone else started it, and I copied it and then added to it in the last year. It starts in 2018. There may be stuff from even before that where he said it's almost done. But let me show you. Let me stop screen and I can show you the fucking tab. Give me a second. Oh yeah, we will get George R. R. Martin is a more productive writer at this point. Present? No, let me first open OpenOffice. And I can find Supernatural Encounters. Okay. Share screen. Here is Supernatural Encounters. Can you see it? October 31, 2018. By year's end, I hope to put out a version with endnotes, a few minor cutscenes, possibly inserted back in to be noted in the endnotes, and a proper cover with the PDF. So yeah, since 2018-ish, and then here it goes on, and every single one of these comments here that's separated is him giving updates. Oh, it's almost done. I made this on this much progress, and then it's still nothing. Last one, December 1st, 2022. It's going to the printer, but he's still going over corrections. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's what's happening. I read some Batman comics, and I read The Light and Darkness War by Tom Veitch. I read some Alan Moore stuff, Watchmen, and V for Vendetta, and stuff. Yeah, some stuff. Oh, I read Joe Hill's Lock and Key series, which is great. Buddha. Oh. Jesus. Okay, that raises the important question. Is he gonna make Hitler canon? Because we know Adolf Hitler is canon, in a way. There's so many evidence of Hitler being canon. I have to make a video about it. He's mentioned by name in the Swedish translations of the original Marvel comics. He would definitely be canon if Alien Exodus had come out, which connected all the Lucasfilm properties with Star Wars and explained it all took place in the same universe. So Hitler is canon. At least to Legends. I don't know if Hitler is in Disney Star Wars, but maybe. Yeah. Okay, 2 hours, 30 minutes, long stream. I am done. I'm really tired, and I have nothing more to say. We shall see. Supernatural Encounters, yeah, if there's Disney stuff in it, that's gonna suck. I'm still gonna read it and review it, definitely. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm just gonna review this as a book, and I'm gonna shit on Joe if he writes trash, like I do with every author. That's gonna be fun. I will give him a 10 out of 10 if he puts a reference to Adolf Hitler in. Just for the fuck of it. Like, fuck it. That would save the book for me. But yeah, Disney stuff in there, World Between Worlds, not a fan. And if we are done here, I think I'm gonna end the broadcast. More rage to come about Supernatural Encounters? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna be happy because we get more Legends content. We get to celebrate a bit more. Lightsider was the bigger deal for me, but yeah, it's just integrating it in there is stupid. It's no, just don't do it. I've been told SWOTOR does the same thing. It tries to work Disney elements into Legends. Don't do that. And same the other way. Don't work Legends material into the Disney canon. No. Just keep them separate. Like, no, just don't. But yeah. Goodbye, everyone. We will see what the next stream is. Maybe I will have a guest on. But here it is, my new book ranking and broadcast.